what I've been telling myself since year two. Lexington is not a third world country. Anything you don't have, you can procure same day. Tractor Supply, Farm Vet, Walmart does same day deliveries. So it's all going to be okay.
I mean, that might be the best piece of advice I've been given as we prep for pony finals. It's exactly why I wanted to share this episode with you, not just to get all of my pony finals questions answered, which I did, but to normalize not knowing the answers in the first place. So one of the things I love most about this sport is watching young riders, and especially young women, cheer each other on. But there's also something really special about watching horse moms do the same thing. When one mom who has been there and done that is willing to generously share her time, experience, and all of those little things that no prize list ever tells us, it makes the sport feel a whole lot less intimidating. And if this conversation helps even one newer horse mom feel a little bit more prepared, or even a little more at home in this world, then it's worth every minute. Welcome to Broke Horse Moms, the podcast for non-horsey horse moms who are figuring out this wild world of equestrian life together as we go. I'm your host, Angie Trueblood, and I did not grow up in this world either. I'm just a mom who started Googling things like what is a lead change 5 years ago, and I've never looked back. Okay, friend, let's get into it. Broke Horse Moms is presented by Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Nobody told me about Big D's, but I am glad I found them. They have a huge selection, fast shipping, and the kind of customer service Broke Horse Moms appreciate. Use code BHM10 for 10% off your order at bigdweb.com. That's BIGDweb.com. Welcome back to Broke Horse Moms. As you are listening to this, we are actually just days away from Chloe's first pony finals event, maybe her only. I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, it's going to be less than 2 weeks from the time that you hear this until we actually travel to Kentucky. Now, I have spent plenty of time reading over the USEF website, downloading forms, checking the qualification requirements, and making packing lists. But somewhere along the way, I realized that even with all of these official communications, I was still left with a ton of questions. And they weren't competition questions. They were horse mom questions like, when should we actually arrive? Do we need a golf cart? What do we do when we pull into Kentucky Horse Park? All of those questions that are not answered in the prize list. They're the kinds of things you only learn from one parent who's been there and done that, which is exactly what Broke Horse Moms has always been about. I remember before our first rated show in 2025, I could not even create a picture in my mind of what the show would look like. We had never been to a non-local show, so when I tried to picture the showgrounds where we would be unloading all of the stuff that we had packed, I just saw it as one big black hole, which is what every new level of this sport feels like, whether we're headed to pony finals, whether you're headed to your first rated show, or you're just wondering what life at some of these bigger competitions and on bigger stages feels like. I think this conversation is going to remind you that none of us were born knowing this stuff. We all learn because we either blindly plod our way through it, not recommended, by the way, or we learn it from another horse mom who is willing to answer our questions. Today's guest is Laura Greenstreet, mom to pony jumper rider Cora Greenstreet. You can follow them in their content over on Instagram at Cora Rides. And Laura is the founder of the Pony Jumpers USA Facebook group, which has become an incredible resource for families who are prepping for pony jumper finals. Now, disclosure, Laura did grow up around horses in Lexington, Kentucky, but when Cora qualified for pony finals a couple of years ago, she found herself asking many of the same questions that we are asking now. The official information was there, but all of that practical horse mom stuff, those answers were a lot harder to find. So instead of letting every new family figure it out on their own, Laura created the Pony Jumpers Facebook group, and it has become a place where parents can ask questions without feeling silly and where experienced families are generously sharing everything they've learned along the way. Now, over the past few weeks, I have asked more than my fair share of questions in that group. And at some point, I realized the answers to all of those horse family questions were scattered across dozens of posts and comments. So I reached out to Laura and asked her to join me on the podcast and help answer the biggest questions families have before heading to Pony Jumper Finals. I'll link to a free 2026 Pony Jumper Finals cheat sheet that I pulled together after this interview with Laura, and it shares everything we talk about, including links, so that it's all in one accessible place. You can find it over on brokecoursemoms.com/ponyfinals 2026. And again, that link is in today's show notes. Here's the thing. Even if Pony Finals is not on your calendar this year or ever, I think you'll still find yourself nodding along during this episode because every new step in this sport often feels like we're stepping into the unknown. And sometimes hearing from someone who has already been there or just been a few steps ahead, even if we're not going in that same direction, is all it takes to make our next step feel a little less intimidating. So here's my conversation with my new friend, Laura Greenstreet. All right, welcome to Broke Horse Moms, Laura. I am so excited to have you on with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You have been such a resource already as a mom going to Pony Finals for the first time. Did you start the Facebook group?
I did, yes.
God bless you. You have a daughter, Cora, who rides, and I think I followed that account on Instagram. It's at Cora Rides, right?
Yes.
So tell listeners a little bit about how you got into this sport with your kiddo and basically became the voice of education for Pony Jumper Finals.
So Cora was born in Kentucky and since moved to Colorado, but her brother actually rode, who no longer rides. And when she was a very little girl, she said, "You off, me on." I don't think she stopped riding since then. She just knew it was going to be her sport. But I grew up in the world of like Kentucky thoroughbreds racing. So all of this pony finals, A shows, I knew nothing about. So I have been in all of your all's shoes in the last 3 years, just trying to learn as much as I can. And I remember sometimes I was a little scared to ask questions as well. I was like, oh, I don't want to sound uneducated, but I really want to know what I should be packing, or is a health certificate enough? And, not knowing to bring your vaccines. So as Pony Jumpers has evolved, it's become my passion project, to be honest. I'm so passionate about bringing more people to the sport and finding a more affordable way to get people who maybe can't afford a $300,000 hunter pony, but can afford a pony jumper. So giving people so many more opportunities to join in. And so that's kind of where the website came about, or the Facebook page. Just how can we get more people to the sport to feel confident going to pony finals, and also to build pony jumpers. Like, I want it to be just as big as the pony hunters. And I think it has the potential to do that.
Oh, for sure. We always talk about accessibility and affordability. And really, from a jumper perspective, it does tend to be more affordable for families because, you just said a $300,000 pony. I didn't even know that existed, Laura.
Oh, in the hunter world, that's like mid for the top hunter ponies. Yeah. Yeah, that's mid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go make
Deep
myself
breath.
a cocktail.
Yeah, let me give you an oxygen mask.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, it's just a whole different world to be competitive in the hunter world.
Now, did Cora start in jumpers, or where did her love of jumpers come from?
No, so she started on the hunters, but she's always been, an extremely gritty child, will ride anything and, loves a little extra speed, and had bought some project ponies who were more suited to jumpers than hunters.
Yeah.
So she had started competing in the jumpers. It wasn't called pony jumpers then. It was called like 0.7, 0.8, 0.85. So she was doing that on the ponies and just really enjoying it. And, a couple of the ponies that we had as project ponies, the lead changes just were never going to come. The ponies were set in their way, or, they weren't going to be fancy enough to ever model, or, different reasons they were never going to make it in the hunter world. But they're perfect jumpers. They love to jump, they're safe. And so here's a great home for them as well.
I love that. How old is she again?
She's 10.
So Chloe is 16. Cora is probably, how long has she been riding? For a long time, right?
Yeah, like 5 or 6, like probably 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they have about the same amount of time put in, I guess. So was last year your first trip to pony finals? Like, tell me about your first experience.
So last year was actually our third trip to pony finals, but our first time as pony jumpers.
Okay.
So, which was a whole new world, a good world, a great world.
Did you feel when you showed up that you were prepared?
The very first year, no, but I feel like we've gotten a little better every year because I feel like there's a lot of anxiety or buildup around like, oh, it's pony finals and it has to be perfect and, nothing can go wrong. And my new mantra to myself is I'm not going to a third world country. Anything I forget, I can buy and procure the same day. So that is literally what I've been telling myself since year 2, after year first, like being a nervous wreck. So since year 2, Lexington is not a third world country.
No.
Anything you don't have, you can procure same day. Farm vet, Tractor Supply. If you forget kids' clothes, bathing suits, anything you need, I can get the same day. So I need to namaste myself and know it's all going to be okay.
Oh my God, I love that. Was there anything that happened your first year where you didn't feel prepared for it? Like any funny stories that happened just being new to it?
I don't know that it was like funny, but like we just learned so much. Like there's a kids Grand Prix where they jump on foot, and that's like every Thursday with like Dahlman jumps, but you have to sign up to participate in it. So it's like the kids that have been coming for years, or the barn, the trainers had told all their kids. And then of course, everyone's like, well, we want to do that. But like for the first timers, we didn't know that you had to like sign up to go jump the kiddie Grand Prix, which was such a huge deal. And so it's like, okay, make sure your kid signs up for the Kiddie Grand Prix because it's actually a ton of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where do they sign up for that?
Right in front of the Rolex, Dahlman Jumps has a booth and they can sign up and do the Kiddie Grand Prix.
Okay, perfect.
The other thing is you have to like line up the first day for the merch. So they bring in merchandise all throughout the week. I'm not sure why it's so crazy. I don't know if people are just making it crazier than it needs to be, but there is a line every Tuesday morning for when the merchandise tent opens. Now there's merchandise all week long, but I think like the best sizes and some of the best merchandise goes like the first couple hours.
And that's the USEF Pony Finals merch, right?
Yes. And so that for me was also a little overwhelming Tuesday morning. I was like, oh my gosh, we're not going to get anything. And we got stuff later in the week. We were fine. But to see this big line, I was like, what have I missed? What have I not done?
Well, a girlfriend of mine, the one we're actually trailering in with, just sent me a link this morning for Pony Finals merch. So I guess there's an online ordering thing available also.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know in the past online, you could get like hats, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. And then in the actual tent, they had everything like calendars and scarves and like a much more extensive amount of stuff. But hopefully online, they'll have both this year. Because people have complained, like, you shouldn't have to line up on Tuesday at 7 a.m. to be able to get the merch.
No, I mean, we're not buying concert tickets.
Right, exactly. Buying a Pony Finals t-shirt.
Yeah, we can do this.
Yes.
Okay, so the Facebook group has had so many amazing questions in there, and I love that the parents and the folks who have gone before are contributing. And I reached out to you because for my brain to go through all of those, I felt like I needed a lot of resources like in one place. And I'm going to share links just for everyone listening. I'm going to share links in the show notes. It will be very extensive. So you've been super generous. I think let's start with kind of before we leave home. Like, what do we need to tackle before we actually haul out? And I'd like to focus on some of the things that are not included in a lot of the USEF communications. There are some things that I feel like the way the competition flows, that's all readily available. There are some things that are buried and then things that are not mentioned at all. So those are the things. The buried and the not mentioned is what I would love for us to focus on.
Perfect.
So health paperwork, you mentioned that.
So yes, Kentucky has gone to the event pass. And I was so glad that Piper from the Plaid Horse
Yeah.
sent that to the page, because the first time I used it, it wasn't hard to use, but you actually do need to sit down and like upload your documents and take a few minutes. And I had just shown up to the show office this spring in Kentucky, and I'm like, here's my documents. What do you mean? So this is something you need to do before you leave home. You need to have your vaccine record. You need to have your Coggins. You need to have your health certificate. The health certificate needs to be within a certain number of dates, depending if you're coming from in Kentucky or if you're coming from out of state. Texas, because of the screwworm, now has a very specific requirement. So there's 3 requirements: Kentucky, the rest of the country, Texas.
Okay.
So do your event pass. If you're from Texas, make sure you go check out the rules.
Yeah.
But have that done before you show up. It'll give you a picture. They will scan your event pass, and then they'll hand you your numbers at the office.
Literally, horse moms, it's what our dreams are made of, because
Yes. Yes.
one of our
Yes.
qualifying shows was at our local Hits, and they use the event pass, and you get to see the green check before you ever leave. So you're not wondering where the Coggins are. I feel like this is what a lot of parents and families are looking forward to, like the horse world kind of catching up to technology. And
Yes.
this was like mind-blowingly amazing. So 3 cheers for Event Pass.
No, I totally agree. And I have to say, like, I am not always the most techie person. Ironic, because my husband is an IT guy. But I didn't want to call Kevin. And so I called Event Pass, and they were incredibly helpful. They have a whole team of people. So if for some reason you upload the vaccines to the wrong place or something like that, they actually have a number on there. You can call, they'll get right back to you, and they'll help you fix all of that.
I love that. One thing that has been chatted about in the group is the whole idea of getting support once you arrive, but planning for that ahead of time, whether it's a braider, perhaps a groomer, or a body worker. Are there places where we can go, like in an organized fashion, to see who might be offering those services? Or is that kind of a figure it out as you go?
It's a little bit of figure it out. I would definitely suggest locking your braider down now. The braiders are exceptionally busy the week of pony finals. So if people need suggestions for braiders, we could even start a little post online so people could, post braiders' names and phone numbers, because it's definitely good to get what days you need the braider, how many ponies you want to have braided, etc. Because many braiders are booked out from the hunter barns that have been coming forever. And so while jumper braids are easier, there are some that are booked out. So I would definitely have that done. So there's a lady who is very active on our page, Keena Cox. She does MagnaWave. I know she has availability that week that you can book. A lot of people for the MagnaWave bodywork stuff do have signs up in the bathrooms and around. So you'll be able to find that kind of bodywork quite easily.
Okay.
Grooming, you will not be able to find last minute. There is a lady, it's called Away from the Stables, and she has a whole crew that will do stalls and water. And so if you just want someone to do your stalls morning and night, again, you need to book her now, but you can take care of that. And then there's a girl from Zone 8 chef, Alexia Honegger's daughter, Haley. She's offering some grooming services as well. So if that's something you need, I'd reach out to one of those 2 people to like get your stalls cleaned, waters changed, that kind of thing.
And braiding for jumpers is still pretty standard at pony finals, right?
It's a national championship. It's you will see the majority. I know a couple people were very passionate that they saw some ponies not braided last year. They're right. There was some ponies not braided, but that was definitely the exception, not the rule. You're participating in a national championship. It's a big deal and should be treated as such.
Yeah. Okay. Traveling, I think you and I communicated a little bit. So we are trailering from Virginia. And so we'll have our car with us. But I know a lot of people are getting their ponies shipped. Maybe the humans are flying in.
Yes.
What's the best way to get around when we're in Lexington?
Get a rental car. I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, even though I don't live there now. Lexington's a beautiful town. You can go to Kingland. There's a lot of fun places to eat out, some museums. There's some places to go hiking. But bottom line, even if you're staying at the Marriott, which is pretty close, you're not going to want to be Ubering back and forth. What makes Lexington so beautiful is it's spread out, the horse farms and everything.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be taking 5-6 Ubers a day. In my personal opinion, rental car is the way to go.
Similarly, on property, I have learned Kentucky Horse Park is ginormous.
It is,
and
yes.
We should definitely get a golf cart, right?
100%. If you happen to be in a barn that, is close to the Claiborne, you might luck out. And so then you can walk back and forth to the Claiborne. But like, say you want to go do the Dom and Jump things at the Rolex, or USEF is really good about having activities in the Rolex every day. Or my boys that don't ride, they call it Pony Island after like Wellington's Pony Island, but they have an area of inflatables for the kids every single day. So there's all kinds of like slides to play on. Some years they have water, some years they don't. But there's so many activities to do. You don't want to not do them just because you don't want to walk the mile and a half to each one.
Right. Okay. A couple of people had asked about scooters. I feel like it's probably allowed. You just need to pay attention to the ages, like normal shows.
Yeah, a few years ago, they were so strict. They were actually telling people if they were caught underage riding them that they were going to cancel them showing. Kids were petrified. Trainers were mad. So Kentucky is pretty strict some years. I felt like last year they weren't as strict, but you have to have a driver's license to drive a scooter. I just don't think it's really worth the risk the week of pony finals.
Now, stand-up scooters would be allowed, right? Without a driver's license or no?
Anything I think that's not like
A bicycle?
an engine, like, you know what I mean? That's not like electric. They don't want the kids zooming around on electric scooters.
Okay. Well, I get
I
that.
guess.
My son is going to be so disappointed.
Right, exactly.
Now, we talked about the golf carts. Those can be ordered through a place. Is it called Dever or Dever? Dever?
I think it's Deaver. Sometimes they have last minute carts available, but with the numbers expected this year, I would definitely pre-book them.
Girl, they are not inexpensive.
They are so expensive. It's wild.
I feel like I could buy a golf cart.
I told my husband he better figure out a way how to get our golf cart on our trailer. And he's like, Laura, like the math isn't mathing. I said, well, I put it on top. He's like, I'm going to take it off going under a bridge. I said, you're the IT engineer guy. Like, you figure out a way.
We'll get off the exit and we'll get back on the exit. Like,
so we have rented golf carts. The people who work there, the guy who owns it, like, he's amazing. His daughter's awesome. I love working with them. Nothing against them. It's outrageous. It's like a down payment on a golf cart. So yeah, be prepared.
Oh, I was not. I wish I would have connected with you before.
Right, yes.
Similar to the golf cart, because you can order it through the same place. So for the stalls at Kentucky Horse Park, I know there's a couple of different options, but we don't really get to choose, correct?
You don't get to choose.
And so we can order shavings, hay, and stall mats through Dever and or Dever. And I feel like everyone said get the stall mats because I think a lot of the stalls have concrete floors.
The new stalls have concrete floors. The shed row stalls have concrete floors. A bunch of the tent stalls are actually on the parking lot. So those all have concrete floors. Only the tent stalls up by the Rolex have dirt floors.
Okay.
And so that's the problem is you don't know until you show up and check the board, you know, what you're going to get. I mean, I know that some people put down pellets first. So you can actually put the pellets down, the pellet shavings, and then you can wet them. And so you can make kind of your own mat because the stall mats are very expensive. So that's kind of a way to save money is put all those pellets down, wet it, let it sit for a little bit, and then put your shavings on top.
Well, my thought, I ordered the stall mat. The stall mat was like $100 because the other option was just to put like a ton of shavings or do the pellets.
Right.
So I just wanted to be kind of overly tending to Phoebe, the pony, because I just don't know. Like, you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't want them to have sore feet. And that's the thing with Kentucky as well, is there's a lot of walking for the ponies, depending on where their stall is. So barefoot ponies, you do maybe need to think about booties.
I wish we were barefoot.
Oh, gee, nice. So we have one that is, one that's not. So the one that's not, like, we have to worry a little bit about getting sore-footed. So just because there's a lot of concrete walking in Kentucky where you wouldn't see as much at other shows.
And it's going to be 1,000 degrees, right? Like, how hot was it?
Last year wasn't too bad, but like the year before was like a killer. I mean, it was probably like upper 80s, low 90s and humid.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
I always miss Kentucky when I go visit because, you know, I see all my friends and the big horse farms, and then it was so hot. And I was like, remember how hot and humid you are.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So let's assume we've like made it. We're pulling into Kentucky Horse Park. I feel like I read that you don't check in. You tell me, what do we do, Laura?
You go to the stabling office and figure out where you should go. Okay. So there's a big sign that says, you know, stabling office, and you should go to the stabling office. There's a board and it has last names. It'll probably be your trainer's last name, not your last name. So you find the trainer's last name and it'll give you the barn number. There's some maps online of the Kentucky Horse Park, so definitely have your map ready because the number of the stalls doesn't make complete sense. So don't think, oh, I see a 1, I'm just going to find a 2 or
So
3.
close.
Like, yes. So pull up the map, figure
Okay.
out where you're actually going. So then after kind of pull up and get your stalls, go to the office, get completely checked in. With the bigger events, they do sometimes have this little booth opened to check all your paperwork. Because it's an event pass, I've not seen the booth open this year, and we've been there 3 weeks now. We were there for Kentucky Spring as well as Split Rock. So I'm assuming maybe they don't have the booth open as much because of event pass. So then you would go to the office and immediately get your numbers because your ponies cannot leave their stalls absolutely without a number. They are exceptionally strict on that.
Yeah, that's something that we realized at our first rated show last year, that either the pony or the rider, does it need to be specifically on the pony?
Someone needs the rider or whoever
Okay.
can be wearing it. Yes.
Just has to have it. So we sometimes partner with Penn Snickety. And so we would have like the little
Yes.
Penn Snicketies on the saddle pad and stuff. It's so cute.
I love Pensacola. She is the best.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you need to arrive? Like, they're not open 24/7. So like we're coming
They're
in from
not.
Virginia. What do you do if they're closed?
So you would have to wait until the next day to get your numbers in.
Do you still go check in and move in?
You would move in, yeah. If you got in late at night, you'd go move into your stalls and then go to the office first thing next morning to get your numbers.
Okay. So the office will be open. It just may not have people in it.
Well, like the stabling office has a sign out front, so you don't have to go into the office. Yes, it's a big board.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's like literally just like you don't even have to go into the stabling office. It's just a huge board out front. So you don't even have to talk to a human. You just like literally go up to this board and there'll be pages and pages of names and numbers.
You're so helpful.
And so you just literally find this board and then find where you go. And then the office is actually about a quarter or a half mile on up the road, which is by the concession stands. The office is in a different location. So the stabling office is like the first thing when you pull in, and then the office is a little further up.
Okay, and you have to go to both, but if the office is closed for the day, go back in the morning to get the number.
Go back first thing in the morning, yeah.
Okay, perfect. There was a little conversation on, and Luann, our trainer, sent it to me too, like the types of fans that you can put in the stalls. We just can't do like a regular box fan.
No box fan. It has to be a 3-prong fan. The Kentucky Horse Park, something I found out, which I grew up there and I didn't know this, is actually owned by the state. And so I think that's part of the reason some of the rules are so strict. Well, this is a whole nother podcast. We can get into, why I think there's been some reasons maybe they lost the big shows and stuff because the things move a little slower and they're very strict about some things because they're state run. With that being said, they actually have electrical employees that work for the state that do come around and check for fire safety.
I mean, I appreciate that.
I actually do because you don't want a barn to burn down because someone brought an old fan. No. So you can buy a 3-prong fan for $35.
It's just a 3-prong plug, right?
Just a 3-prong plug.
Yeah. And you can bring extension cords. There's a little bit of guidelines. I feel like I saw that somewhere. I'll find it. I'll link to it. There was also some good information about hoses. Did you bring a hose with you?
Yes, you should always bring a hose because, sorry, Kentucky Horse Park, Youssef, if you're watching, there's not enough wash racks for everyone. And so you're not supposed to wash your horse at your barn. You're supposed to use the wash racks. But I mean, I know for one tent we were in last year, it had 3 wash racks for 60 horses. That's just not going to work. So, I mean, obviously people are always using the hoses out there or a couple of barns, I think it has 8 wash racks for 4 barns. So yes, you're supposed to wash your horses at the wash racks. We all wash our horses at the wash racks, Youssef, Kentucky Horse Park. But wink, wink, you might have to wash them where you're staying. Yes.
Okay. Bring a long hose.
Yes. And you'll need a hose to fill up your waters.
Yep.
And so the majority of the places you stay, like a 25, 50-foot hose will be perfect. If you are in the tent stalls, you would possibly need a 100-foot hose because there's only one water on one side.
This is not fun for moms who are trying to plan. So we should just get a 100-foot hose, basically.
Probably, but I have to remind myself, not a third world country. Tractor Supply and Home Depot, very close.
Okay, thank you for this.
Walmart does same-day deliveries.
Thank you. And then the other thing that was a great reminder in the group is bring zip ties for the fans.
Yes, lots of zip ties. You'll need lots of zip ties. And you'll need to zip tie your extension cords because the way the plugs are in lots of places, you actually have to run up the wall and over, and then flatline across the stalls.
Okay. So it's like Tetris. All right. Here are some questions on schooling and competition. Chloe has never done a jog before.
Okay.
What are most people wearing?
Most people are wearing brown breeches,
Okay.
and some are wearing white breeches. So there's actually brown or white, and they're usually just wearing a collared shirt, like a show shirt, but they are not wearing a show jacket.
Okay. It's so funny because someone was like, well, just wear your barn polo. I'm like, that's cute. We don't have that. She's the only one from our barn.
Oh, okay. I was like, you can wear your barn polo or your like zone shirt if you have like a zone shirt.
Okay. We don't have that, but she can just wear a show shirt.
Just a show shirt is perfect too. Yes. Cute belt, show shirt, and your breeches. Make sure your boots are clean.
Yes.
Which they should be clean all week at a national championship. Don't worry.
Yes.
I remind my kid of this as well.
Oh my gosh. Similar to that in terms of attire, I know there's the team competition, and we think those assignments will go out mid-July, I feel like is when they're doing that ish.
We're begging for it. So last year they went out Monday night before pony finals Monday night. Yes.
Okay.
So people found out their teams Monday. So we're begging for them to go out after July 14th when the final deadline is, so that we'll have at least 2 weeks for people to contact each other, maybe pick a shirt color, maybe quickly do a zone shirt, made, that kind of thing. Figure out who your team leader is. We're lucky we know who our team leader is because she's done it for like multiple years now. But for many people, they don't have that luxury. So we're, pushing USEF to help out with that.
Okay. There's 2 moms at our barn and they own Armor Equestrian, and they do a lot of like the gallop glitter where you can put stencils on your pony.
Yes.
Do people do that on the jumper ring at pony finals or no?
We did see a little bit of that for the team competition.
Okay. What's the vibe on that? Like, are people okay with that or no?
I felt like people were okay with it. So for the individual finals, we didn't see that.
Yeah.
But for the team finals, we did see it. And I felt like that was, all like, it was mainly like the zone number, like putting like zone 5, zone 8. It was mainly like the team number.
Okay. But the teams are just groups of 3 kids, right?
4 kids. And they try to all be, because you're competing as a zone. So in theory, one day this will be like youth national championships where only a certain number of people from each zone will be on a team. But right now, with how you qualify and a bunch of different reasons, USEF is putting everyone on a team, which is amazing. It's amazing for the kids. But you are riding for your zone. So like, where do you guys live?
In Virginia. So we're zone 3.
So she's going to be team zone 3. If they don't have enough people to fill a team, then you might ride for a different zone, but you'll be headlined over like zone 3-4 or zone 2-3. So you will ride, like last year we had 3 zone 8ers, and then we had a girl join us from Texas because we were short one.
Okay. Wait, I imagine there would be multiple teams from zone 3.
There might be so certain zones have multiple teams from the zones.
Okay, perfect. Oh my God, you're amazing. Okay, so let's talk about like warming up, because when we went to our first rated show, we saw there's the schooling ring where you can warm up whenever you want. And then there were ticketed warm-ups. What is available at Kentucky Horse Park? What do we need to sign up for ahead of time? And if we don't want to pay to quote warm up, what is available?
Okay, so it's very different for pony jumpers and pony hunters. So on Monday, the Claiborne ring will be open. You should definitely all take your ponies to that and hack. So it's flatting only, but you can flat all day in the Claiborne ring. So that's just like letting the ponies see the flags, letting the ponies like be in the ring. So open ring, all pony jumpers can ride in the Claiborne ring. And then there is a schooling ring that goes with like the Murphy, the Stoneleigh, and on the Claiborne. That's where you would like warm up for pony jumpers. Okay. So they will have 3 jumps set in there that will be occupied though just once the show starts. That'll be just for the showing people on one side.
Okay.
So the first day of competition, every single pony jumper as part of their entry fee gets a training round. So it's a very fast and furious training round. I think it's like 60 seconds. The first course, I think you get to jump like 6 or 7 jumps. Mm-hmm. But every single person gets a training round, and it's the only round that your trainer can actually yell at you. So that's the other hard part. That was like a big deal last year, especially the jumper trainers. There was so much yelling the first day, even round 1. Like USEF had to send out a big announcement and like a letter like, hey, this is a national championship. You're not allowed to speak. So, I mean, maybe bring duct tape. I don't know. So we can all like zip it. But, the trainer can train.
Yeah.
So a free training round with training from the trainer. And
I love
then
that you're
it
calling
goes
it
straight into
free.
the fridge. Yeah. Included.
Included. That's perfect.
Yeah. No additional
I
cost.
love that. And then you said you can do ticketed warm-ups too?
Ticketed warm-ups are $45, usually only like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And those are all usually set up as hunter rings. Like, the Murphy will have ticketed warm-ups. The walnut ring will only be for hunter ponies, so you can't actually go school your jumper pony in the walnut ring. But the Murphy will have ticketed warm-ups. I think the Stoneleigh will probably have ticketed warm-ups too, so they'll have a couple rings open for ticketed warm-ups. $45. You can use those at any time, but just know it'll be set up for hunters, not jumpers.
And those are none of the rings that we would be competing in as jumpers either, right?
Right. The only ring you'll be competing in is the Claiborne.
So do you do that? Like, is it worth it to do a ticketed warm-up in a ring they're not actually like competing in?
For us, we felt like with the training round that it was plenty.
Okay, that's what I'm leaning towards because you have the schooling ring too.
You have the schooling ring, and they actually are jumping 4 rounds that week because they're jumping 2 rounds, and then 1 round, and then possibly a jump off as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
actually 5 rounds and possibly a jump off.
Okay. Well, and someone mentioned that there's a ton of like fields that you can hack around in that are really nice.
So the weeks before pony finals, the best part of Kentucky are those fields. It's literally my daughter's absolute favorite part. It's my favorite videos, like my memories. It just reminds me of Kentucky. You can ride everywhere. In years past, some people did some shady stuff where they let adults school ponies in the fields where adults aren't allowed to. And so because they had to gain control of that, they now have a much more controlled area the week of pony finals where you can like flat ponies and you can ride to rings. So a few people always ruin it for everyone. So this year, I don't know what the standard will be. So I know they're still going to let you ride to the rings. It's much better for the ponies' feet, honestly, and their brains to ride to the ring like through the field. And it's a cut through. It's very nice. But what I heard is that there's going to be like certain places you can ride, but you can't go like up over the hills and stuff, which is just, I mean, it's sad. People frustrate me, but can't, what can we do? But after they're done, they can ride anywhere.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard is like once they're finished competing, like then it's open.
That's so funny.
I know. Yes.
So I think the last part is really as moms kind of taking care of ourselves. And also there are events peppered into pony finals.
Yes.
I saw there was an adult or a parent lounge. You mentioned there was like a welcome dinner the first night. Tell me those things.
My husband loves the parents' lounge. He said, "Oh, I'm going to have a man table again." I said, "Okay." I know. So any dads, find my husband, Kevin. He's having a man table. So he, has some free adult cocktails, some free appetizers. Kids are actually really not allowed because I know sometimes last year people were like, "Oh, if my kids aren't competing," like, no, it's really adults only. USCF has a dinner, I believe it's on Tuesday night. The first timers, they take a first time picture and there's even like a first timer ribbon. Make sure if you're a first timer, you go to that USF dinner. Okay. It's a big deal. Usually, some of the executives speak. And I love having that first timer picture of Cora. It's like, here's where the journey started. And like, you've made it to pony finals.
So wild.
Pony jumpers supposedly having something Monday nights. Can't say much on the podcast. TBD, yes.
Anything that you can think of as parents around like things to pack that we might not have thought of or things to plan for? I mean, we're using this as one of our family's vacations.
Yes.
It's like our main vacation this summer. Same. My husband and son, they won't get there, I don't think, until Tuesday or Wednesday because we're large ponies. And so we didn't want them to sit around and have to be bored or whatever. But I would love your insider, like how to make this a fun event and comfortable for all of us.
Definitely pack raincoats. It always rains.
Oh,
I mean, at least one day you're going to have rain. So pack a raincoat. You might have to show in a raincoat. My boys come each year too. I mean, they're still at an age where they enjoy playing with inflatables. They're 13 and 10. So we do that. And then Kevin does try to split off with them sometimes when Cora is not showing. There's some places in town when it gets really hot where they have some indoor activities too, where like, Getty Town and some other places where you can get like pizza and then you can go play arcades.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, they have a place off Nicholasville Road. The name's escaping me right now, but you can like do race cars inside, and it has like a miniature roller coaster, has bowling inside, laser tag. So definitely, like if you are bringing family, and making it more of a vacation, the one thing I will say is Pony Finals is very strict about being on time. So this is not like, oh, I was 10 minutes late. Like, can you work me in? This is not that show.
Yeah.
So have someone up at the ring calling back to the barn because you don't want your pony standing for an hour either. Because I know some trainers get really anxious about time and they're like, let's just get up there. Well, let's not have our ponies waiting either. But like have someone following the order of go, knowing when things are coming. So the pony is really up there when it needs to be up there. The pony's not waiting too long and you're not running late.
Do they give you like an estimated time to go, or is it just an order of go?
Last year was an order of go. But
Okay.
you could like estimate it based on, okay, like every round's like, 60 seconds, every round's like, 120 seconds. You could kind of do some math magic and keep checking in.
Okay. And where do they post that? Because I know we registered on the USF athlete dashboard, but
Yes.
then are they using a ring radar or a horse show online to actually be able to check in and see where the show is? Like where we are in it.
Last year it was like a Google Doc that they emailed out to us
Okay.
and that they were like updating, and also for like the team scores because the times did count for the second round for the team scores. So everyone that said, oh, no one knows the times count. The times count for the second round of the team round, FYI.
Don't they count for the first round too?
The first round, you have to go clear,
Okay.
but the time starts counting the second round of the team round. But you have to be within the time. So say the time allowed is 80 seconds. That would be a fault. So you can't have any faults. You can't have time faults
Right.
or jumping faults. But you're only competing with time the second round of the team round. And
Okay.
that's how they'll decide the winners of the teams
Okay. Just based on speed.
based on total speed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
faults and speed.
Yeah.
USF doesn't like when I say it like this, but it ends up being the fastest team because there will be multiple
Yeah.
teams that will be completely clear. So there'll be enough good riders, enough good ponies because they're like, no, Laura, like you need to say it's the faults and then only if no one has faults. I'm like, but every year there's some teams with no faults. So
yeah, I mean, it's jumpers. Like don't knock
jumpers.
anything down and go the fastest.
Right.
I still have questions. And then the individual stuff, that second round counts as part of an individual score too, right? The second round of teams.
So the individual gets confusing. So you have the first 4 rounds. So the training round counts for nothing. You have phase 1, which is on the same day of the training round. So that will count towards the individual rounds. If you have faults, you'll probably be in the farewell class, just to be honest, not the individual round.
Okay.
So then day 2, you have the team rounds. So those rounds count towards your team, but also if you have faults in those, that also counts to whether you go to the individual final or the farewell class.
Okay.
So the nice part is the very last day, there are 2 classes offered. So if you have faults, you'll probably end in the farewell class. And if you don't have faults, I think it's like the top 50 or 60% will go to the individual finals. So they run the individual finals, and then anyone with no faults will go to a jump off to decide the winner.
Okay. How many people made it to the jump off last year? Do you know?
I'm going to say like maybe 30.
Okay. Did Cora, where did she come in last year?
Her team won gold for the group. And then her pony stopped on the individual final and she was devastated.
That's like one thing I think about, at any of the shows that we go to. What role did you play as a mom of helping her navigate like that disappointment?
Yeah. So I was like, you need to have no expectations. I was like, the best that you can do is just enjoy this moment. And Cora's pretty competitive. She's like, Mom, I love having fun, but this is like not the time for fun. Like, this is real. I was like, let's just go in and like enjoy ourselves. And the pony showed up the first 3 rounds. She was amazing. And then when she did stop, she actually just like politely exited. And I said, Cora, that's a win. And she's like, it's not, because they had actually had the fastest time like 2 days in a row. And so, I mean, they were, on fire. But one thing that's disappointed me a lot at pony finals is these parents are having these huge emotions. Kids look to us for guidance on what their behavior should be and what the response should be. And as parents, we should be clapping for other children.
100%.
We shouldn't be like screaming at trainers or in-gate people or having meltdowns if they have rails or they go off course. At the end of the day, these are kids who have put themselves under a lot of pressure And I just hope that like we set the example. It doesn't mean we can't feel disappointment. We're human. It's normal to feel disappointed when you spent all this money and have this huge goal. But you know what? We need to set the example for our kids of like how we're going to handle that disappointment and like, move forward.
Yeah. We are there for this to kind of see this through so that no matter what happens, it is a positive memory. It is something that we get to experience with our kids. And I mean, they're young. And so they either have learned or will learn that there's always the unexpected in this world of equestrian because it's your partner is another living, breathing animal.
Exactly.
Wild. This has been super helpful. I mean, I think your mantra is what is sticking with me. Like, we're not going to a third world country. We can get anything we forget. But is there any parting words to other moms and dads to share with them before we hop off?
I would just say, like, enjoy it. Try to really have fun. You've spent a lot of time to make it here. You spent a lot of money. Try to find some joy in it and try to do some fun things with your family and make some memories, meet some new people. And I think clap for other kids. Like, never let a kid come out of the ring without clapping for them and ask some questions. I know a lot of trainers have like messaged me, like, let me set you up with a trainer mentor because I'm not a trainer, but let me find you a trainer mentor. If you're a parent, let me hook you up with some parents that have been going for a long time. Pony jumpers, like what's happening in it, it's really going to transform the equestrian world. Like, I'm just so excited we're all a part of it. I mean, let's have a great time. I understand it's competition. We're all very competitive, but like, let's make it a great year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Same. I can't wait. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this, for doing all that you already have and continue to do. It's very inspiring to see other parents out there kind of paying it forward and helping make the whole industry more accessible. So you are playing a very big role in that.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Friend, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Laura as much as I did. Whether you are headed to Pony Jumper Finals this year or you just want a better understanding of what it's all about, I have organized everything Laura shared, including links, into the unofficial 2026 Pony Jumper Finals cheat sheet. You can hop on over and download it at brokecoursemoms.com/ponyfinals2026. Until next time, give your rider a hug if they let you and take a deep breath. You are doing a great job. Special thanks to our podcast editor and friend, Steve Woodward, who helps make sense of my rambling episodes and gives you the best audio experience possible. If you're thinking about starting a podcast and want his ears on your project, check him out at podcastingeditor.com.